Yo, what up? Got the Honda Element back in the shop. Got a bad starter. The lady replaced her battery. It still wouldn't start. She said it started one day, wouldn't start the next day. Kind of would barely turn over. So I went, towed it back. I figured it was a starter. So I brought like a 2-foot extension or anything long enough to go down to the starter. Starter's under the intake. Brought a hammer and a starter. You can probably see my marks on it here. Let's see. I can see it. Why can't you see it? Okay, so there's the starter. You can see my marks there. So if you have somebody to turn it over, you can normally get a long bar or an extension or something here. Go down, make sure it's on the starter. And then smack on that puppy. Make sure you hold the bottom so you're not smacking on all sorts of shit while somebody turns it over. And that was enough to get it started so I could drive it on the trailer. Went to O'Reilly's, picked up a new one. Oh yeah, so we got 2 bolts. We got a main power wire and an igniter wire. And it looks like a clip for the harness. It should be pretty easy. I've never done a starter on one of these, but undo the battery first. I have a lift, so I'm going to put it up in the air. You can crawl under it or jack it up and undo the little shield on the bottom. It should just come down. Hopefully we can see a starter. All right, sweet. There's the starter. See the lower bolt. See the harness. You can see the igniter wire. That looks like maybe a 17. Yep, that's a 17. The harness is just held in with the clip. Just gotta kind of pry both sides of the clip, pop it loose. The igniter wire should just pop straight out. This should be a 12. Sometimes the aftermarket ones are like 13s, but anything on a Honda should be 10, 12, 14, 17. Okay, my flashlight died, so got my backup on. So we got this bolt loosened. I'm gonna leave it in until I get the inside one out. Got the igniter wire just pulled straight out, just like a push-in spade connector. So for this one, they're pretty tight. Okay, I was gonna throw a 6-inch up there, but I reached up there. Feels like the inner bolt has a really long collar on it. Feels like the end of the bolt's right around here. So 17 was not the correct size for the inner one. It's a 14. So that's the deep 14 right there. I'll slap the ratchet up there and see if I got enough room. Otherwise, I'll step down to a 3/4 length socket. All right, my shop's a mess, but getting her done. I broke it loose with this one. I always use flex head ratchets. And then I got it more loose with this little guy. This is a 3/8 mini. So you should be able to stick your hand up here once it's loose. And with the tips of your finger, if it's loose enough, can I shake the starter with one hand? test your finger strength here. All right, this is an awesome bolt on to put in there, so you don't have to reach all the way down to the base. Extends it way out. This is why I love Hondas. They actually have smart engineers and build cool shit like this. So yeah, that's the inside bolt. Now we'll just reach up and pull that 17 down. And the plan is to sneak the starter down a little bit, maybe twist it to the side and get the main positive wire coming in from the battery. Okay, well, the starter is about 12 feet long. So we're gonna pop this bracket out. It's like a intake hold down bracket. It's got a harness clipped in it, but we shouldn't have to undo that. So we're just gonna undo that lower bolt there. And the other bolt, which is a nut, goes into the bottom of the intake. Both look like 12s. Okay, so I ended up taking that bracket, both bolts off, left the harnesses up so you can just kind of shove it out of the way. The starter snuck right down to about here. I just pulled that little boot off there. Okay, I got the little 12 nut off. There's the wire coming down. Little boot gets a little annoying. You can try to fold it backwards. So it should just fish on out of here now. Hopefully. Otherwise, there'll be more work. Okay, just remember we pulled it out like that, so we're gonna put the new one on the same way. Flip off easily. I didn't really want to jerk on the harness too bad. So I undid the long ass bolt. I held it on. And I won't lie, I could pull it out about this far and it hit the thermostat housing or something, but it's a long skinny bolt. I'm not using this, so I just tweaked it up just a little bit, enough to slide it out. You can get the harness out without prying on the harness clip out without prying on the harness. Okay, got it thrown back in there. Got the main power wire in tight. Used the original bolt. The original nut. Fished it up in here. Do not pull the starter out here like I did, because the starter fits in and out right here. Really easy. So yeah, just slip it up here. Tighten the positive down. Put the little booty on. Push it up into place. Same thing here. I'm gonna get this bolt in, started and snugged down, not tight. Then I'm gonna reach in the back, get the back one in and tight, come back along, get the front one tight, reach up, push the harness back in, push the little igniter back in. And I did undo the knock sensor harness just to get it out of the way. I didn't want to break it or pull down on the harness or anything. And just reach up there and push in on the top of the clip and pull out nice and gentle. Okay, my phone's on 1%, so we might get a couple seconds. Got the starter back in, got the harness clipped back in the little bracket, the knock sensor plugged back in, got the little signal wire hooked back up, and we got the bracket all in and tightened. There's a nut on the top, little bolt on the bottom. Now I'm just gonna slap this puppy back in, shove in all the clips and fire it up.